What is your favorite Shakespeare play?
Oh, this is such a good question, and I get
Yeah.
asked it fairly often. So you
Okay.
think I would have a really pat answer ready. Um, and I I entirely don't. I have three. One is Twelfth Night, which is sort of it's one of his latest comedies. It's a very funny but also very bittersweet, gender bending comedy that has a huge amount to say about grief and madness and frustrated desire. And that, I think, is the perfect one to see, the perfect one to teach. Another one is Richard II. So that's your mid 1590s, entirely verse history play, which is about the deposition of a king, about a king who is usurped, and it was considered a very controversial play. You couldn't play the deposition scene on stage in Elizabeth I's time. And the question that play wrestles with is, can God's anointed king cease to be a king? Can you kind of ontologically cease to be royal? And what happens? It's also very much a play about a family. A cousin usurps a cousin. And then the play which makes me cry is The Winter's Tale. It's a late play. It's a kind of tragicomic romance where a king believes his pregnant wife has committed adultery with his best friend, and he puts her on trial. And he's wrong, of course, and his wife dies. Having given birth to their daughter in prison, she dies. It's very hard for me to talk about this play. If any of your podcast viewers, listeners would like to read it, I don't want to spoil it. But there is a moment at the end that just makes me weep. It's so, so beautiful. During the pandemic, I ran play readings at Oxford. During the pandemic, when we couldn't meet in person to do our play readings, we did one on Zoom of The Winter's Tale. And my first years hadn't read the play before, which is great. And so I got to see them experience the ending for the first time. I was a mess. It was wonderful. So those are my three for very different reasons.
Okay. And one more question to put you on the spot. Your favorite Shakespeare quote?
Okay, so one is from The Winter's Tale, but I don't want to spoil the ending to
Okay.
anyone who goes
Okay.
and reads it because um there is, so this is a different play. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, there is a scene with a cat fight between two women, and they've been best friends since school, Helena and Hermia. They've grown up together, and they become entangled in a love triangle. Well, a love rectangle, actually, by this point in the play. And Helena is very kind of tall and willowy, and Hermia is short. She is little and dark. And as it happens, you can't, I'm sitting there, I am very short. So, and Hermia is a part I always ended up playing at school and university. And during the fight, Helena brings up Hermia's lack of height, and Hermia loses it. And Helena says, she asks the boys in this love rectangle to defend her. She says, she was a vixen when she went to school, and though she be but little, she is fierce. And I think that's a great description of this small, angry, furious Hermia. And it's also one of the funniest scenes in Shakespeare. It's completely actor proof. You can do it with schools, you can do it with students. It's so that always makes me laugh. I think it's a great line.
And one final question. What's next on your research or project that you're working on now?
Yeah. Well, I'm mulling a few things over at the moment because I've done the Searching for Juliet book, available where all good books are sold.
Sure.
And now I'm sort of looking about myself a bit. I'm really interested in the legacies of Shakespeare and the British slave trade. So I'm working on something to do with that. But as to the next book project, it's kind of watch this space because I'm developing a few things at the moment. I would like to do so Searching for Juliet is kind of a biography of the character Juliet and the way she's been interpreted over 4 centuries. The next project, I would like it to be another kind of biography, but whether it will be someone fictional or someone real, I haven't quite decided.
Yeah, this has been absolutely fascinating. We urge our
thank you so much.
Our viewers and listeners to go online and purchase Dr. Duncan's recent book, Romeo and Juliet. And again, we could go on and on. There's, this is just the beginning of Shakespeare, but our time is up. And Dr. Duncan, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it very much.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a delight. Thank you.
Thank you.